So we have a quorum, so I'll call the meeting to order. And he did send around the minutes. Anybody have any comments on the minutes?
I provided them to him directly. There was a minor one.
Oh, okay.
Just a typo sort of thing, or
Yeah,
content?
Um,
Yeah.
didn't matter content, but
Oh.
it listed Lombard Street instead of Lombard Road.
Well, there's a difference.
Call that minor. Yeah, it was minor,
No,
yeah.
but something
I-
put my address as Route Avenue.
Scrivener's-
There are no avenues in
In
Hubbardston, in Central Mass.
Boulevards.
Boulevard.
All right, back to the minutes.
Crazy.
Scrivener's are.
Now that we have all
Well,
that.
it's important because if you're talking about Brigham, there's Brigham
That's
Street
important.
and Brigham Road.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah,
And you're
yeah.
in two different places.
So what is it, 7:08?
All right.
Okay.
Do you want to hear a motion about accepting them?
I move that they be accepted, subject to the change recommended by Mike.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, treasurer's report.
Okay. Ryder is static at 4,125. Hubbardston Preservation Trust, 18,900. And,
Ooh.
yeah. And the 498, almost 500, is decreased with 3 invoices repaying Tim for 2 and Burnshirt. So now we have a balance that they totaled 362.19, and now we have a balance in the open space donation of 136. So we need to start building that up somehow. Have a bake sale.
All right. Just relative to invoices, let's see. What's the status of the one for Walt Lawrence?
Oh, you know what? She just got back to me late this afternoon, so I haven't responded to her because I knew I'd be seeing you tonight. And I have it in here. I had it so organized, now I lost it already. It's in here. She said, okay, here we go. I had written, because I couldn't find where she is, this Jessie person, and I talked with Mary a little bit, and she's gonna follow up on it, but she didn't. So I kept on checking the Parks and Rec, and finally, late last week, there was a website with, for her name at info blah blah or whatever. So I got in touch with her, and I said, we need to know when the next meeting is because we have an invoice to present, blah blah blah. And this is interesting. I was pleased, this is the end. I was pleased to discover, no, that's not it. Yes, it is. I was pleased to discover your contact information recently posted on the website, along with your new member, Hunter Young, who will be a real asset to your group.
Cool.
But it's only 3 people. Her, somebody named Pat or Penny or something, and then Hunter. And she got back and said, "Hi, Susan." And that was just like this afternoon. I sent that Thursday last week. I am glad you were able to find us. Yeah, finally. Are you able to tell me how much the invoice is for? And I can. We'll talk with Bob about that. I'm assuming the work was already done, so there isn't a rush to have a meeting yet. But I would add, but there is a rush to get the invoice paid. That was my addition. It's proven difficult for us to get a quorum of a meeting with only 2 active members. Any information you can give me beforehand would be great, thank you. So, it's up to you. I have the invoice ready from you.
Yep.
The warrant voucher is signed by you, by me, just needs hers. Do you want me to send those 2, or do you want to do the letter also? Remember you wrote the letter explaining the whole thing? Am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm getting my projects mixed up.
You can send that too.
But I don't know if I have the final draft. I think it was,
Yeah, I think so.
should I send
it to
whatever
me.
I have?
Send it back to me or something.
Well, so you want me to send whatever I have somewhere in my email? Because that was good, I don't remember.
Well,
You
relative-
read it and you think it looks good, yeah.
Okay.
Alfie doesn't.
Because like she said, any information you can give me beforehand would be great, but I might send those 3 things then. And then say, actually the work was done quite a long time, or say it so that yeah, I mean, I was kind of trying to get the message
All right, I'll
across.
just check on that.
So the Parks Commission committee, whatever they
They
are,
call it a commission formally.
is totally new. None of these people.
I don't know about the
Carried
third
over.
person. I hope somebody.
What were
is
the names?
I don't remember. Penny? Tim or something? I only glanced at it quickly. But it's posted, so there are 3 people but 2 vacancies. So I don't see Santa's name there anymore. So,
Especially given that they're gonna have a problem creating a quorum. One proposal I was thinking about that we could take to them, see how they react, is to just do a blanket transfer
what does
of
that mean?
something like $5,000 into the open space account.
The donations account, because it's not private or
The
anything.
donations account. Well, either, or
Well,
both.
could we do that?
It's just an accounting, I mean, it's just,
Well, but is it? I mean, technically, they're in charge of
they
it.
are, they would have to approve of it. But there's nothing that says that they have to approve.
Okay,
A
that's a
specific
good idea,
invoice.
Mark. Why don't you present it? Because I don't want to go in and, this is what Danielle said to me. She said, because she told me who it was on an email, and she said, be nice to her, she's new. And I'm thinking, of course I'd be nice to her.
I mean, you should,
never known
you should
that.
go ahead on this invoice, go ahead with the
And get
path,
this
with the path
one
you're on.
expedited, but as
But
a
I'm
long,
thinking as
because
a
this mother may,
Alternative, yeah.
but I think that's purposeful for some reason.
You think what?
It's purposeful that they want us not to have, I don't know why, but it's in the law that the hay money goes to the Hubbard Preservation.
I think that's what was politically possible at the time.
At the time, yeah. I think
Which was
that's
a long
just
time
they did what they
ago.
had to do.
Oh, well then maybe
that's
they'd be
right,
glad
yeah.
to have one thing off their plate, but then, do they have access to that still?
Oh, yeah. Well, not to something that they transfer to our account, but whatever the remainder is, they will still have access to.
Maybe
Yeah, so
somebody,
Max is saying, let's transfer,
like a chunk, like
Lump sum.
5.
A chunk, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is an idea.
No, that's a good idea.
Should I run it by name
And we don't
first?
have to go to them every time we want a little bit of money or something.
Yeah. Well, it is money from the hay, so it's I can see it working if it's
Yeah.
legal, and I
Yeah.
can see it being much more efficient. So
Yeah, so I can write something up on that too. How's that? That we can present to them.
well, how about once they post their? Oh, go ahead.
I would, yeah, probably run it through Nate first.
Yeah, and he probably doesn't know because.
But he won't.
Right. And he's, I mean, he wasn't here, and it's a unique situation.
But he
because-
likes to be checked with.
Oh, of course. Well, he's the boss, right? So, okay. You've got enough on your plate. You're building bridges, literally.
There you go. It's better than breaking bridges.
Yeah, that's right.
Or
So I'll go ahead because I'll
Burning
just,
bridges,
but
yeah,
just,
that's the right word.
that's where,
Close.
so Bob, how about just send me the letter if I can't find it? If I
Okay.
can't find it, I'll let you say, hey, and then that will be a way for me to sort of
Okay.
be a presence, and she'll remember that, we need this done, and then I can maybe explore the other. That's a good idea. So, okay,
Okay.
just send me the letter and I'll move it
Good.
forward. And I was just so glad to hear from her because I thought, it's like so many other things these days. You send something out and nobody responds. And it's just in business and appointments and I don't know, just lots of things. And I'm getting tired of it.
Do we need a motion for,
Oh, yeah.
for the idea to request a lump sum transfer of 5,000?
Shall we say 5? That's nice, easy.
Yeah.
It's like
It is.
25% of what's in there now, about. Okay, so somebody, Mark, how about you? Or, yeah, it was your idea.
I thought he just did make a motion.
But Tim sounds like he's gonna make the motion. No?
I think we're still in the exploratory stage.
Okay, so.
I think we should collect a little more information in the
Oh.
next,
And then
next
maybe-
month's meeting. Let's
But
nail it down.
we will try to get that 1K paid because
Okay.
that's long overdue.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do
Yes.
Okay, alrighty.
The one was paid. I gave the invoice relative to the bully tool. That's all
Yeah,
set.
you,
And the
Tim, you
and the
got
fuel.
your, and you got yours,
And
right?
Tim got
Berkshire?
his.
You got your.
So that's good.
Okay,
Take care of that.
Because you can get it in early in the week. They do whatever they do on Thursday, I guess, for warrants. Because on the sheet it says Thursday's date. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Okay, more no business. Land Priority Group, things are progressing nicely on that. There's a pretty, in my opinion, a pretty impressive team that's now associated with that. North County's on it they have 3 people that are linked into that right now. Anna's very active and supportive of what's going on. She basically is helping to orchestrate things and run the Zoom meetings, et cetera, et cetera. And then she's support from North County is Emily Molino, and an AmeriCorps person that's just an assistant, that's Kate Messer. Mount Grace has got Julia Fitzpatrick representing them. DCI's got the 3 key groups represented. Watershed, Felicia Bakay. Fish and Game, James McCarthy, and then there was a new one that got added recently, and that's a new Parks and Rec person for this whole area, somebody named Lonnie Fournier, and Lonnie was, well, you know her?
Oh, yeah, I know Lonnie.
She used to be just associated with Boston, I think, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what she said. So this whole area out here with all this open land was a little bit new to her realm, but she sounded like a really good addition to the group. So
Lonnie's with DCR, Land Protection Group.
then we've got people from the 2 adjacent towns. At one of the meetings, one of the joint meetings with a larger group, and it was, I think, particularly James McCarthy suggested maybe bringing in Phillipston and Templeton with a particular focus along the Burnchurt River corridor, because he's got some lands there that he's really interested in, and there's a lot of contiguous already wildlife areas, and massive ones in Phillipston, as well as some from Hubbardston, etc. And I'm not sure if Templeton's got some. So we reached out to, or I reached out to Templeton and Phillipston. Neither one has an open space committee at this point in time. Templeton used to have one, but then they lost the sufficient membership, so that got disbanded. But they do have people that are interested. So from Templeton, there's John Henshaw, that's Cynthia's husband. He's on their CPC, and Carrie Novak. Carrie Novak's on the staff of North County, and she's also on CPC there. And then from Phillipston, there were 2 names, Melanie Novak and Tim Haley. Tim's on the Concom, and Melanie is the Chief Administrative Officer, so she supports the select board over there. And most of those people were in on the last group meeting we had. We've got a date for holding the workshop relative to land conservation, and that's going to be November 13th at the Senior Center. Timeframe, I don't know if it was a little vague, the exact time, but approximately 6 to 8:30, I think is what we ended up with as a time frame on that.
What day of the week is that?
Is that definite? Wednesday the 13th?
So what?
Is that a definite date?
That's what?
It's a definite date right now, yeah. Why is
Is
that?
it a Wednesday then? Does any other phone have
It-
it?
it-
Wednesday.
It is. It's the date that I set for us to receive the bids on the RFP. I'll change that date before it goes out.
All right. Yeah,
We'll talk about
relative
more.
to the people there, it was a date that was provided to me by the Senior Center,
Oh, Claudia.
Claudia. Thank you. And so at our group meeting, that's what we arrived at that looked like the best date. And we're working on the flyer that's going to be sent out. And unfortunately, we're having a problem. We wanted to serve something like a finger food, like maybe wraps from the
Giacomo.
Giacomo's. But the mini grants to support these things, to cover mailing and stuff, has disappeared. So we're trying to search to find out a way to cover that lost funding. Total cost of is probably in the $1,200 range, and we're looking for ways to fund that. But anyway, there's a lot of activity there, and it's all good stuff. Gates Foundation, we just need to send a date for that. Maybe we'll come back to that later in the meeting. What's the status of the beech tree thing? You got the one treatment done, you got another plan or something?
Nope, the second treatment was done a couple of weeks ago. These are what the beech leaves look like. I'll pass those around. On a beech tree near the well at Gates Place. And these are trees from the European beech, the big one behind the foundation.
They got treated,
Yeah,
right?
it's
It's
also,
a different type of beach?
yeah, they're different species.
The-
What, American and
I
European?
think it's European, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a,
Yeah, it is.
So
Okay.
maybe it's not gonna get it?
well, European beech is susceptible, as far as I know, just as much as American beech, but, for one thing, it's a bigger tree to begin with, so it may be more able to resist the nematodes. And we've now given it 2 treatments of the phosphate, and maybe that's helping. It's a little early to tell, but if you've been down to the Malone property, you see the understory beech in there are just
Everything
about
is like,
completely defoliated.
yeah, it's like that.
It's been really strange this summer, being
Yeah,
able to see hundreds of feet through the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
walking through
Yeah.
the woods is so bizarre. It's like that over in that area that we walked on that hike across the street. from-
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep. So, what do we got there?
It's not one of those.
It's not a nematode, the nematodes are a lot smaller than that. I don't know what it is. Looks like maybe a cocoon or an egg mass.
Well, that's cool.
Alright.
You got these.
Hmm.
That's good that these don't have this yet.
Right. It actually, it looks quite good right now. So we'll see, I guess, unless somebody thinks we shouldn't, we'll do the treatment again next year.
Yeah, what's the schedule on the treatment? What there was?
Well, they say twice each summer, or spring, summer, like May and July probably is ideal. We didn't get started until it was the beginning of August or end of July this year. But we did them a month apart, and that's the normal treatments. Somewhere between a month to 2 months apart during the growing season. And I have an
How about
article.
the 2 months apart and twice a year?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody.
Where
wants-
did you find that then? What is
It's in the Northern Logger and Timber Processor magazine that I get.
Available at your nearby newsstand.
By what stand?
Newsstand, yeah.
I am not, but there was some other magazine that he had lent me at some point, and I thought it was interesting.
That's a good reminder, I have to re-up my subscription
Is
to
it?
that. yeah.
Very specialized sort of niche, right? Yeah.
So you refer to it as a fungicide.
Well,
Is it also a nematicide?
it's used as a fungicide. No, it doesn't actually kill the nematodes. It just helps the tree resist the nematodes. Because it's funny, it gets translocated up into the buds and the twigs and the buds and the leaves. And it's a it's a phosphorus compound, but it's not a phosphorus with 4 oxygens, PO4 minus, that's what's in phosphate
much
fertilizer. Too much. Oh, I'm
I'm
sorry.
just kidding.
It's a different ion in the tree. As far as they can tell, the tree isn't converting it to phosphate. It stays as phosphite, and somehow that makes the I guess it makes the the tissues in the bud where these nematodes feed less palatable.
Like
To the
taste
nematodes?
yucky? Like taste
Yeah.
bitter to them or something?
Yes, they're probably, yeah, something like taste bitter.
That's a scientific term for the rest of you. Taste
Taste
yucky.
bitter.
What a timely article though, September of this year.
Yeah,
Yeah, so people are becoming aware of it
yep.
and wondering about the long-range effects.
Yeah, we don't know, but where it's been in Ohio for now 11 years, they're seeing quite a bit of mortality in places. They say usually the trees only last about 8 years, 5 to 8 years. That it's those understory trees, like we have so many of them at Malone, that those usually die within 3 to 5 years. The bigger ones, the ones that have full sun, have been lasting 8 years. And nobody's been doing this phosphate treatment for more than 4 or 5 years, so they don't know for sure what the long term is for that. But in the forest, and it's not practical to do
Does
the
this come out
phosphate.
Yeah.
monthly? Is
What?
this a monthly magazine or quarterly?
I think it's monthly.
Yeah, September, so how do they find enough information to put together? I'm sure there's plenty.
Okay,
So in the last thing, Mark dug the trenches to put the phosphate in so it would soak into the ground, not get washed off when it rained. And that speeded up the process a lot for me. And I filled those back in though for the, we're not gonna be doing anything for the next 6-8 months, and just to make it look better and nobody trip over it.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
good. Open space status, we still chasing signatures?
Only the planning board. We have the select board, we have MRPC, Montechusett Regional Planning.
So the last one, just the planning board?
Yeah.
Good.
They haven't met for a while, but yeah, I told Chris I was gonna come chase him down at one of the next meetings.
All right. Trail loops at Mount Jeff, the new ones, that's still gonna be something a little bit later in the fall. Maintenance needs, Beaver Pond, same story. The Gates Hill, where we slash Mr. Tim has started some bench cut on that. That looks good. The photos you sent around, that looks nice.
Yeah.
What you sent around.
What's
And
the-
you asked, you wanted some water to test it out a little bit, so you got.
Right on cue. What's the name of the tool?
But that
you
looks good.
use to do that?
I just ordered, I found another organization, Rogo, but there's a company in Colorado that, I'm just doing a little bit of Google research or something, Trail Tools, something or other.com. In fact, I talked to the guy today because he said, "Oh, where's my tools?" And so his business is doing well enough, so he's closing another business and to focus all his attention on this one. So I ordered one of the Rogo types, but it's the one with a sort of a axe type head, but it's not in an axe arrangement. So they call it a pick, but it's about 1.5 inches wide, 1 3/4 inches wide, and then a hoe at the bottom end that's 6 inches wide. It's a 60A or something. But then there's another tool that has a name. You remember the name of that other tool? It's a rake type thing, but you can also use it for tamping. But it has a particular name. And on the
McLeod.
McLeod.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So it's a hoe type thing, but then the other side of it you can flip it over and it's got teeth, so you can do some raking with it at the same time. So I ordered 2 of those for ourselves because we have a little bit more of that stuff going on. We'll probably use it on one of the new loops. Other people haven't been out there, but in that one of the new loops that we walked with Danny where we got permission to put it in, there's one section that is moderately steep that we need a side hill section on. And so that'll be good to make a bench cut in that too, similar to what Tim sent around. Let's see. Mass Trails grant. You want to talk about your quotes and stuff relative to that?
Yeah. Well, we've got, Nate's about to get the contract signed and sealed on the flashing beacons in Williamsville Road at the Ware River Rail Trail. He put into the contract that it was to be completed by December 31st, and the contractor didn't buck against that, so those will be going in sometime this fall. But I don't have a definite construction schedule. But
Did we get a definite price?
yeah,
How did it compare to what we budgeted?
just below.
Just
I was hoping to be a little more below.
well, the reason I asked is because I noticed the other day where the Central Mass Trail crosses Route 122. I don't know whether it's in Rutland or Berry.
There with the rumble strips.
Yeah, they have rumble strips in the pavement so that as cars approach the pedestrian walkway, you hear boom, boom.
So that's more for the people on the bike hearing it, not just
Yeah.
to make you as a driver. That makes
Right,
sense. I
right.
hadn't thought of
It
like
serves
that.
as both, but because of that blind turn on Williamsville Road,
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, even if we had proposed it, I don't think that would have flown with the DPW and the select board.
oh,
Is it
okay.
harder to plow then, or
No, I don't think so,
Just-
but
more
It's
work?
got it probably reduces the life of the pavement right there.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's called SNAP, Sonic Nap Acoustic or
Oh my
Approach
goodness.
Pattern. Yes, Sonic Nap,
Acoustic approach pattern.
and only one A, Approach Pattern, SNAP.
Yeah.
And it's done frequently. I mean, I've been on lots of projects with it.
Huh.
And it doesn't significantly,
Is it something
make the
added?
pavement-
Is it something added to the pavement?
no, they grind it out.
They grind. Yeah.
They grind out, yeah. And, it doesn't significantly hurt the pavement.
Jeez.
And it doesn't, because it's a little divot, the plows don't catch it.
Oh, I see. The plows just float over it.
yeah.
Ah.
No, that's not a problem, but I suspect that the town administration would not have been excited about the effect on drivers. of
Well, they do it on
hitting that for a very
122.
low volume crossing.
There's one other issue too, just relative to just residents. So there's another
Yeah, that's
residence,
true.
There's one right there.
Yeah.
and those are loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
Where
but
they are in Rutland, there's no houses.
That's right.
anywhere near
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah, no, I designed the beacon. One of them is not two-sided. It only flashes on one side because on the other side, the house is right there. And we were gonna get complaints.
No, that's good thinking. I didn't-
While we're on that subject, and it came up at one of the select board meetings, and they asked if there was a crosswalk, and I couldn't recall.
No,
There is not.
There isn't one.
And there isn't one on 122. And I think that's either Ocam or Barry. Rutland's a little further down.
Okay.
It's also,
I hike around there a lot.
it's also a state road, not
Right.
not a town road.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So anyway,
Yeah.
so that's what's going on there.
No, you made a comment that you were hoping to be a little bit lower. So what, relative to the overall grant total, does that mean if there's like any excess funds in that it could go to the other project?
No, it's going to go the other direction.
Goes back to Mass Trails?
No, I'm going to have to steal a little money from the Malone project. Because what I didn't budget for in the flashing beacons, I don't normally work on roads, oddly. And I did not budget for a police detail to
Yeah.
Oh,
handle the construction process. So
Could that be found somewhere else? No. No.
this will be the easiest.
yeah.
Well, you know,
We'll have opportunities
Yes.
for
All right.
figuring
So-
out
so
exactly
that-
how we're going to swap money back and forth anyway.
Yeah. Okay,
So the other project, the
Yep.
Malone Trail, we need to get the RFP out
yep,
soon. The draft that I sent to you, I also sent to Nate. Nate's gonna take it. He was hoping to have it by today. Didn't happen. But he's basically gonna take that and put it into his own format for what he wants the RFP to look like. But shooting to get it out next week
okay.
with a response date of mid-November.
Yep.
What he had in mind was a bid opening. And he was originally approaching it as, yeah, it'll be a bid opening and we'll take the lowest bid. Yeah, and I had to explain that, no, that's why we were structured it as a request for proposals with a,
Yeah,
with a
Not an
scoring, with a
IFP,
scoring.
An RFP.
Yeah, with a scoring criteria.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, obviously we want to take the low bid if it's responsive and we feel comfortable with it. But if we have a septic contractor that gives a low bid and thinks he's going to go in there with a backhoe and a dump truck,
yeah, yeah.
we're not going to accept that that proposal.
Yeah.
right.
Do you have people that you can send it to that you know do this work and they're good?
Yeah, I sent you the list of
Mm-hmm.
the people that I'm aware of that do this kind of work.
I tried to look up
Yeah.
the third one. I didn't find, I mean, I got to a site, but there wasn't a whole lot of info with that one. Northeast.
Is that the blog site? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen, I ran across them in a search. I don't know how much of an enterprise they actually are.
Yeah, it doesn't look like much from what I could see.
Yeah.
In fact, the only piece of equipment, I saw one piece of equipment in there and it looked like a roller or something, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Do you have U.S. mail addresses for all of the potential vendors?
I'm not sure.
What was that, Tim?
I was asking if we had U.S. mail addresses, because
Oh,
if it's a small outfit and they don't have much of a website, they might not be checking email very often. And the people in this business don't want email; they want it in paper.
Yeah.
Or a phone call.
Yeah, or a phone call.
Yeah. And anyway, I'll chase down as many of those as I can find to let them know that something's coming. It'll go out on Combis, which is the state purchasing system. It'll be advertised on the Gardner News, which will attract zero. But if anybody knows, at one point you had talked about a local contractor related to Claudia
yeah.
somehow. If you want to put them on the list, let me know. I mean, it doesn't hurt to expand the list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Are you getting bids for the trail and the deck combined, or just?
This is just the trail.
Okay.
The thing is that we need to commit the ARPA money into a contract by December 31st.
So we have to have a contract
So-
award.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So the initial contract will be the trail work. That's also the people that need the biggest lead time. So the ARPA money will go against that. But then we've still got additional grant money on top of that to handle the deck, which we'll figure out next year.
And we have to match there, right? So we were, I think.
The ARPA money is part of our match.
Oh, okay.
Volunteer labor is part of our match.
The volunteer labor part was.
Bob's track dumper is part of the match. So anyway, I'm gonna put it in, so, so Nate was, we'll just accept the low bid, and I was no. But we will open the bids, and we'll, since we're in a hurry, I think it makes sense to open the bids and do the evaluation all at the same, all on that day.
Oh,
We're gonna
that'd be
do.
good.
So rather than the 13th, I'll make it the 14th.
Okay, now I get it. So that's gonna be
And
what, you're gonna start it like at noon and have it just run till it's done or something like
yeah,
that?
and I was thinking Bob, me, and Tim, or Bob, me, and Mike.
Yeah, I'd vote for that.
A little background, I have done
You've got
RFPs,
plenty of
contracting,
construction background,
procurement.
yeah.
and in the construction field, yeah.
All right, that sounds good. So you're looking for feedback on this yet?
Yeah, if you got any, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll go over it again. I had a couple little things, but I'll go back over it. Just on this map, relative to just a net, Mullen Road Conservation Area, is that the area that's called a restricted area? I couldn't find the identification of anything called Mullen Road area.
Oh. I pulled that, that map comes from the conservation restriction.
Oh,
I didn't modify it for this, I can change that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I couldn't find anything that was labeled down here in the...
Yes, the restricted property is the Mullen Road
Yeah,
Conservation
that's
Area.
right, yeah, just going through that, there's a great amount of detail in there, Mark, as usual. So it looks really good. And in your comments to Nate relative to low bidder versus the scoring criteria that you get in there is the right way to go.
So Tim had one comment on the scoring criteria, so let's talk about that some more.
yeah, let's see. We have 3 criteria, if I remember right. There's experience, having done this in other places. Oh, I can read it. Yeah. Qualifications, i.e. previous experience, other similar projects, special expertise, that's 25%. Overall cost is 50%. And demonstrated understanding of the project setting and goals, 25%. I was thinking maybe the cost component ought to be more like 70%, and to not put as much weight on the qualifications of the contractor, just to leave the door open for somebody who's never done one of these projects, but they demonstrate an understanding of the project setting and the goals, and there's, a small company just starting out or something and willing to put in a lower bid than somebody else. I'd hate to lose out on a low bid because somebody didn't have the experience. But on the other hand, if they've never done one of these and we can't go look at their other work, that's a risk. So I thought maybe it'd be good to get other ideas on that.
So their experience, not just building something like this, but their experience building something similar. Doesn't have to be an all-access trail, but it could be similar work.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't have to be an all-access trail, but it'd have to be like building a trail through the woods where you need machinery, but you've got trees within 10 feet on either side of you and all around you.
Okay.
And it's a half mile back in the woods. It's not right off of a paved road somewhere. So I don't know, Mike, you see,
I have some ideas about that. I think 70% would be fine, but the more we creep up higher on the cost,
You're gonna drive it to the low bidder.
it's gonna drive it to, why didn't you just go IFB? why you're doing a request for proposal. So you need a good amount of non-cost part to drive an RFP. But I don't think 70% would be a problem. But you get up 80, 90%, then you go, well, why don't you just go invitation for bid? You know, it's hard to justify the RFP if you're going so far towards the cost criteria. But that's a good point. Yeah, I don't want to give up on cost if somebody can, you know, go, but it's still subjective. So I think that the people evaluating it will be able to make that judgment call.
How about 60% cost, 15% qualifications, and 25% demonstrated understanding?
Yeah,
Adds up?
I wouldn't go, yes, I'd agree much more with that than 70, because cost is just gonna be the main driver if you just go with that, and you really want somebody that understands the job and can do it versus just somebody that's got the low bid, so.
Okay. Your other comment was on what we want to put as a completion date.
oh, yeah,
Right now, we're saying that they need to be done by December 31st next year, 2025.
I was wondering if we wanted to put it a few months earlier. One, in case we wanted to do some fall seeding after they're done, and second, so that if they've been procrastinating and putting it off until the last couple of months, they're not working in a time period when there may be frozen ground and more likely to be mud.
Totally.
When can they start?
Well, that's a key question.
After the award.
Well, I mean, most serious trail contractors are already starting to fill out their schedule for next construction season. So there's a couple questions in play. One is, when can they start in terms of site conditions?
Right.
And I would say that that's probably June earliest.
Okay.
You've definitely done major damage out there before in April.
Yeah.
May is,
Depends on the year.
yeah. So there's that.
Yeah.
There's what's the earliest that they can fit us in. And then there's how long is it going to take.
Yeah.
It's a half
Well,
month.
what's the date in there now? I was looking for that in there, but what's the date now? The end date?
December.
End of the year.
December 30th.
Next year.
Yeah, I would think we'd want to move it back at least a month, maybe 2 months. I mean, because if things get delayed, what if they're not done by December 31st? Suppose they run into issues. Human, machine, and so the December 31st can't be met for unforeseen circumstances. What happens?
Yeah.
That's called the contractor's profit. They take the burden of meeting the contract requirements for completion date.
I know, but what happens to the grant?
Oh, does the grant expire?
No.
Oh.
No, there's no pressure
Okay,
from the grant
No threat
side.
to the grant.
Right.
No threat to the funding.
No.
Oh, okay. So what's
That's
the
good
significance
clarification.
of the date being finished by the end of the year then, or needing to be?
Well, we want to give them 8 days. You've got to be done by now.
Okay.
But it's got to be enough time that they
I
can
thought there
schedule
was,
it in for us.
I thought there was an end date for the grants that it had to be.
It's
Like 3
it's like 2 years from November, probably. 2026.
Oh, okay. So it's not the end of it's well into 2026, not the end of 25.
No.
Okay.
So based on an award of this calendar year, those contractors are gonna wanna fill out their schedule, just like Mark said. And I don't, we want to get the award sooner so that we're early on the list, so to speak. You know, people that are awarding in the springtime, you know, we're in a better position than if we awarded in the spring, because they've already got the other projects planned out. And backing it up, June, July, August, September, that's 4 months. For a half-mile trail, or is it a mile? I keep forgetting.
It's
half mile.
Half mile.
Half mile.
I mean, I think 4 months they should be able to do it, you know. And then that still gives, if there is an issue, usually there's a way, I mean, if it's the contractor's fault, it's the contractor's fault, and that burden is on him. But usually if it's something that's a gray area in the contract, and, you know, we can find a way to extend the contract too, if it's reasonable and justified. So we get there.
What page is
When we-
that?
So, yeah, that's what I was just looking for.
Even on the outside, give them, you know, 5 months of good weather.
So you want to say September 30th? And if somebody comes back to us and says, I can't meet that, then we could negotiate.
Yeah. Oh, because this is an RFP.
Yeah.
So you have that option. Good idea, going RFP. We wouldn't have had that flexibility with an invitation for bid. So that's even more reason to go RFP. Matter of fact, you can even make that part of the criteria. Completion duration. We've got qualifications, we've got knowledge of the project, we've got cost of the project, duration of the project. And that's not uncommon
Oh, there
with
it
an
is.
RFP.
It's the first paragraph in scope of work, on page 2. So what did we say? End of September?
I say, yeah, end of September, end of October. One of those two.
I'd say October. And then October 31.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns, suggestions?
Just a nit, Triax, and it doesn't have to be specifically, in fact, Triax is, Tensar is modifying their product, they got a new design for their material, but I'll give you some info on that, so that can just be a little bit more generic instead of specifically Triax.
Okay.
Triax or town approved equivalent.
What's that?
Triax or town approved equivalent.
Oh,
So can you get me something this weekend?
yeah. Yep. Yep, I'll do that tomorrow morning.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Oh, there's a tremendous amount of detail in that. That was good job. All right. That's it for that. Trails maintenance stuff. Tim started that. We have a pretty busy schedule, but we're gonna try and get in there and get that bridge material in there prior to that ride, because it'd be nice to get that cleaned up prior to the ride. So not too many days left, but we're gonna try and do that and hopefully get that I did just get a notification from that company on the road code too, so we'll get that and, what is it, the other two?
No, the McLeod.
The McLeod. That's it.
I've got a rug hoe,
You
if
got a
you're, if
road
you're
hoe?
looking for one. I love it.
Which one
It's
do
a
you
great,
have?
it's a great tool. One of the ones with the, like a Matic handle on it. You know, one of the handles about this long,
Yeah,
and it's probably,
is it just the hoe end or is it a double?
no, just
What's it?
just a rug blade.
Just the hoe. Oh, that's good to know. Then. Let's see. Oh, just relative to funding on that too. We will be getting funding from Bay State Trail Riders of some amount. Becky gets a little bit vague at times in some of her communication and whatnot. In fact, I didn't even know. I had asked number. I've had very little response from those folks, so I sent something to Chris and
Brett,
who's the guy from
Brett
Brett.
Russ.
Yeah, Brett Russ. And didn't hear anything from them. And then just even Becky, I didn't hear anything from them. And the next thing I know, he says, "Who do we make the check out to?"
Oh,
That's a big reach.
Yeah.
Jump. But don't knock it, right?
Yeah.
At any rate, so there will be some money coming from them to support this. New business. That capital request that
Nate,
Nate said, geez, must be a bad night. That Nate sent around. Any thoughts whether we should put something in along those lines relative to tools or trail improvements?
It's
or-
not for that kind of thing.
No?
I mean, you're talking larger scale projects for
Okay.
the CIP.
Okay.
I mean, if you came up with a long range land acquisition project,
Okay.
that might belong in the CIP. But buying paint for trail marking is not not the thing.
All right. And that's about all that I had. Anything else for new business? Or old business that I missed?
Well, for new business, the ATVs out on
Oh,
Mullen
right.
Road.
We haven't talked about that.
Yeah.
Putting up the signs, is that gonna be a project? More signs, will it do anything?
Well, it won't,
No, I didn't
it
think
won't
so.
hurt.
Yeah.
I can, the way I look at it is, I can guarantee it's not an education problem. All those riders know damn well that riding's prohibited on watershed land
Well-
and state land.
I have a proposed solution. Yeah, we have
Spike
to,
strips?
well, no, I think it's even better. So I don't want to use, I want to be careful with the terms I use. So, when someone does something wrong, the way to correct that is to somehow or other have it fit the problem. And so we need some matching labor out there for that trail. What if they do some of the labor to clear the trail? Weren't we gonna do that as part of the grant match anyhow? So now they're involved and they put their sweat into the effort and we get some benefit out of it.
Because they're going to use it anyways.
Hopefully not. Hopefully they'll learn their lesson, the opposite.
And you would enforce this how? Just
Um,
wondering.
I can
Detention?
hide in the woods. Well, that's it.
I mean,
I can hide in the woods, Susan. No. Now, how do you enforce it? Hey, you've got X lineal foot or from here to here trail, and here's how it's going to be done, and we'll have a supervisor out there.
How about the pocket?
I will volunteer to be the first one to be their foreman.
Oh, no, it's
No,
not
but
so
how
much
do you-
that, how do you even engage them to begin with?
You take the person that is most reasonable and you sit down with them and say, there's this problem, it's well documented, we have a number of different ways to remedy this situation, and this is one we'd like to do. So please come and meet with us, we'll talk it through, and we'll figure it out. It's done in the military all the time. It's called EMI, Extra Military Instruction. So if you're late to...
Yeah, but
Seriously.
no, it's in the context of the military,
Yeah.
which is regimented.
Yeah, well,
Just saying.
yes and no. But for example, if you show up late all the time, then you have to show up early. And that will hopefully, if you abuse the property, then you get to improve the property. You know, and it will bring to light the issues that we're trying to make. You don't go and race around in the woods where you're not supposed to be, and you're going to correct damage and you're going to make improvements.
And maybe that will help educate why they're not supposed to be riding in there.
Yeah.
But it also may give them more validation to be in there because they cleared the trail.
That's
An interesting way to look at
that
it.
is a
It depends
very,
on the
very
mindset
good
of the
point.
person you're asking
Thinking
for
outside
help
of the
from.
forest there, yeah.
Because it, that thought has come to my mind. It's like, all right, well, these guys are going to be driving out there anywhere. How about we ask them, like, hey, can you guys bring some loads of material out for us? Because
Yeah.
we need that out there, and
Yeah.
you can get out there in those machines anyways. But that opens the door for allowing them to.
There's always going to be an enforcement issue. Just recognize that. At least we get something out of it by approaching it where here's something we need done, and because I guess we could pursue it legally
Financially?
or
Yeah, but
financially
the
or
follow-up
legally.
on that there again, it would turn, I don't know.
Well, that's why I propose, you did the crime, here's what we
Time.
think, here's what we think would be a reasonable solution that we don't pursue. I mean, it could be pursued legally, right? I thought I saw something in the emails back and forth. I don't think that's gonna...
Not gonna happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. I liked your idea of maybe donating a park bench to somebody in that group's or nearby. Was in the military. Did you put that out in an email about maybe?
Oh, for veterans in general.
Yeah, and so that maybe they'll respect that one particular piece of property a little more if you put something like that out there. That was what I assumed what you meant by
Yeah,
doing that to
Yeah.
sort of.
right. Give them a different reason to
Respect the property.
respect the property than just the fact that they're not
Well,
supposed to be there.
is there any kind of ordinance in the town that forbids this with a fine associated with it?
It's just the.
I-
Isn't it just the?
I don't think so.
No, yeah, and this is on town property.
Oh.
Do we have a CR with the state?
Land trust.
North County.
Oh, so that's,
County.
okay.
And don't
Did
the
they?
land trusts have the same problems on a lot of their properties
Yeah.
that
Yes.
they just don't know how to address as well?
Well,
And they have all the laws on the lingo, but it's the enforcement thing. It has
Well,
to
I mean,
be.
you could put a camera out there.
We already know because of Facebook.
Yeah, I was gonna
who
say,
these are. I mean,
enforcement
Well, that
seems
location-
like the future. We already,
Yeah, definitely.
they helped us with the
Always
enforcement. They
Except for the-
documented it for
But
us.
they were
Let's
actually
have one
writing
conversation.
pictures.
Well, that's true.
well, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, I know. You
but-
can't. Yeah. I think it's just one of those things. The weather will take care of it at this point.
No, it's just such an intractable problem. However, since we know who in particular is involved, it might be useful to initiate a conversation next year
At the beginning of the
when
season.
when we
Open the trail.
start construction on a trail
Ah.
that we really don't want them ripping up.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
and explain.
Because that's
just
not
to,
only
Some
the
of
just
them-
just for a sit down to explain what's going on.
And maybe some of them have family members
Well,
that need a trail like that.
right, and they would understand and be
There
more
also,
empathetic.
there's the situation at Coppermine, you know, they've essentially smoothed that out so that there's no
There's no barrier.
challenges.
There's no barrier. At,
There's no barrier, and just relative to them knowing what they're doing, there used to be a sign there. There's no sign there left anymore, I don't believe. So.
Well,
But the barrier, there's no hint of a barrier there anymore. So
yeah.
well, I don't think they're trailering their vehicles on their ATVs on registered vehicles to the trailheads
The drive.
no, most of them are coming from. I'm pretty sure Templeton. I mean,
on public roads,
And
and they're
the
probably
houses that
not
are right
registered
there.
vehicles.
that's right.
So I think there is some sort of law or ordinance prohibiting the operation of unregistered vehicles on public roads.
Yeah.
There is.
Bon chance. Good luck.
Yeah.
You know, I see them parked in driveways everywhere, but I actually rarely see them on the roads. But I see their tracks all over the place, and I can hear them going up our road. I just don't walk out to the end of the driveway to see them.
I see them going up and down Mount Jeff.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, as far as signage goes, my position on it is they're going to be out there riding anyway. You can either go with ATV riding, or you can go with ATV riding plus a sign pollution problem.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
Well, a little more subtle than the sign is a few more rocks at Malone.
there are some situations where that has some impact for a while. And again, as part of this construction project next year, I think we should take a pretty close look at that and see if some strategically located bollards might help.
What's that?
The vertical posts sitting in the middle of the trail.
Just dig around.
Well, would that be help at Coppermine too?
I think we need a couple more massive rocks at Coppermine. But you're talking about the Mount Jeff Road entrance, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually a really good size rock available there.
It's too big, I can't move it. I know, I looked
Even
at it.
Tim can't move it.
Yet. Come up with a way.
Where's that?
Mike's already thinking how.
It's-
I'm going to invite Archimedes.
How big is the rock? Big as the table?
No, see that box
Half the size
behind
of the
mine?
table, maybe.
So something we might need DPW to do or something.
I think you could probably scoot it with your tractor.
I've moved some pretty big rocks with that.
Take a look next time you're going by there. It's like 10, 15 feet directly behind where they're going in now.
Okay.
Some of the people that have the ATVs might have some really, really big equipment they could help us with. And since we know their names, maybe we could call them and ask them, hey, we need some rocks set up.
That would be an interesting conversation.
Yes.
Oh.
It's just, it's tough because there isn't really too many places they can use them around here. They all
They go
buy
up to
them
New
anyways.
Hampshire, and
Yep,
there's
there's
miles and
lots of
miles
places
and
in
clubs
New
that do it. It's not that
That's-
far.
Buy land.
Yeah.
You want your horses? You buy land. And you locate near authorized trails.
Yeah.
Or you trailer your horses. Right?
Yeah, or you board them near
Mhm.
those places.
How about the environmental
Police.
police associated with the state forest? Are they of any value?
They're having just as much
They've got
trouble
the
too.
same problem. that
There's so few of
everybody
them.
has.
Yeah, and they're,
But they always find me.
their working hours aren't at night when all these things are happening. You're out there during the day.
They don't see me at night.
It's the game warden corollary to Murphy's Law.
Right.
They're on, well, I don't know how often they're there. I've seen tracks on Old Cross.
Yeah.
I don't know
Well,
where
that
they go
trail
from
that goes
there.
right up to the Sawyer's Field. Tracks go up there.
No.
Go up
Only-
I walk that trail,
Did-
like from Sawyer's Field, from our property down. I see.
Oh, Sawyer's, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
They go
Yeah,
up
they
there.
come up, so they
And
cross
I've
the
also
bridge.
seen them go up Mill Pond, but then over towards like Rick and Susan's, and then instead of dropping to their house, it goes all the way over to the gas line.
The
Or,
AT&T trail.
yeah,
AT&T.
Wow, wow.
I call that the Enchanted Forest,
yeah,
north and
pretty
south.
out there. Yeah, it's pretty amazing where they can. Sometimes you think like, how the heck did they get in here? But
Yeah.
they can maneuver around.
So we're probably not gonna solve it tonight, is that
No.
what we're hearing? Or ever? Maybe it goes in waves, you know, kind of, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
this
You know,
picking up
people
again.
have new toys, they
About
use them for
probably like
well.
4 or
and then-
5 years ago, it was really bad.
That was
Really?
youngsters that I think that have, you know, gone to
Right.
college or something.
You know, that happened with forest fires down in Connecticut. There's an
Ooh.
area, suburban residential area adjacent to forest land back in the 1970s. Every spring, they would have multiple brush fires, all started by kids. And, you know, fire department would go out, put the fires out. And a few days later, there'd be another one just a little further down the road somewhere. This went on for, I don't know, 5 or 10 years. But the kids grew up. And that problem disappeared. By the 1990s,
Nobody was
there was
camping
nobody,
in the woods.
well, yeah, camping or starting
Oh, yeah.
fires to watch the fire trucks come. So it really was generational. It went away. So maybe this will be the same way.
Yeah, but your comment, Mark, about once this trail is in, that they cannot mess with that. I mean, that's a community that has waited so long. for-
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
that might
need
matter
to-
by how it's advertised and
Yeah.
how many people in our town really are looking forward to it, and we'll start to police it.
Right, have an opening and let them know that this is a special place. Not that, I mean, it's a special place anyway, but
Yeah.
because that community has been deprived for so long. It's,
Well, yeah, and it's disruptive. I mean, that letter that came with the
yeah, that woman, I
that
forgot her
woman
name.
that
Oh,
said, you know,
yeah.
it's a quiet place, and then you go
That
out
it's
there
not. Yeah.
and you get this group that's disrupting it. So, all right.
Well,
More thought.
Hubbardston Hikes.
Yes.
Oh,
that's
right, we
I
skipped
didn't-
over that.
Oh, I did put it right
What's
at the
the
top of my
deal?
list. I didn't mention it.
He
Um,
saved the best to last.
The next hike is, we're going to meet at Berry Falls again, October 5th, 2 o'clock. We're going to go in and out of Hubbardston on the Midstate Trail. One piece of the Midstate Trail on Hubbardston. South.
It's a very
Well-
short stretch of Midstate in Hubbardston.
Yeah, actually, it's northbound on
From
the
the,
Midstate
from the
Trail.
West Branch Bridge there to,
Well, from the parking lot, the main parking lot at Berry Falls,
yeah,
just over the town line into Berry.
yeah,
You're down the hill and pick up the trail and follow the trail upstream
right.
to Brigham Road. Go
Yeah.
across the bridge, take a left and follow the trail for another half a mile or something.
Yeah.
So Tim, when you go out that half mile, are we looping coming back the same way or going back to Prison Camp Road or to Brigham Road?
Well, we're not going to go all the way to Prison Camp Road. It's a lollipop, so where we turn around, we don't turn
Okay.
around and come back on the Midstate. We come back on a state forest road,
Okay,
DCR road that comes back down to Brigham Road.
because I was going to suggest
A
if
lot of
it's
moose through there.
yes,
A lot of what?
A lot of
Moose.
moose.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen moose.
There's
many
also
times in that
some
area.
really big black cherry trees and some really big tamaracks out there.
Yep.
And those are kind of cool.
Yeah.
Some of them are in the range of, what do you call them, legacy trees, or could be, in a few more years. The black cherries there's 2 of them. And they're big.
Yep.
They're big. So if we could make that
That's
part of it.
yeah. Those are part of it.
Okay, so you know where I'm talking
Yep.
about there. Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Would you say you've seen moose there, or just the scat?
I've seen moose right off of Brigham Road. I've seen tracks up on the hill there.
Mhm. Same thing, going up that hill.
All right.
Well, maybe I better wear orange so they think I'm a hunter. I don't really want to meet one during rut.
There's a big bull seen just a couple houses from my daughter's house on Ragged Hill.
Really?
Yeah,
There's a what?
Jeez.
big bull moose.
Oh,
All by himself?
Still in velvet's
Is he by
all
himself?
gone now.
Pardon?
All by himself then?
Yeah, but a female was seen a couple days later back in the woods.
oh well, so they just see them out there? Walking around?
Well, this one time anyway.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's cool.
Yeah.
They're the most weird looking creatures, really. It's supposed to, like, something that didn't quite come out, maybe like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And much bigger when you're.
Mr. Chair, I move we adjourn.
But we must post it's Halloween, the last Thursday of October's.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I have a few more comments.
Oh,
But
sorry.
it'll be very quick.
I withdraw my motion.
There's a motion on the floor.
There wasn't a second. That's why, because normally adjournment is not debatable. Yeah, so
It never is, but
Yeah.
I'll withdraw my motion.
thank you, Mr. Forrester. Mr. Chair, I have a few things. We're gonna have to follow the
I've
formal
been
rules.
wondering what that was.
All right, so
Skull, I can figure that out.
you got a skull. So,
Oh my gosh, look at this.
what animal is this from?
Can I see the front of it?
Dead
Yeah.
one.
It's a
It's
bird.
gotta be a beaver.
Beaver.
Well, somebody thought it was a bird, and they thought this was the beak, and this is the head, and this was a wing.
Oh, no.
Seriously.
Mini penguins.
Seriously. So, what have I heard?
What?
Beaver? I'm guessing beaver too.
Okay, some other beavers. It is a beaver, and we confirmed it by the dentition. And so when we went out to look at the gentian flowers, I stepped off the trail because I'm always, trying to find new things. And this was laying on the ground, and so I got it. Now, does anybody know how old a beaver this might be?
Youngish.
Let
Oh,
me see the teeth.
very, very old. And how do I know that?
Do the teeth just start working their way out?
Because it's long in the tooth. Todd got it. Thank you. So it's very long. So these teeth go all the way back
Oh.
into that skull
Yeah.
there.
And they slowly
And-
wear them down. It's like a,
Yes.
That's a
Matter of fact, if they don't wear them down, they will grow right back. And my dad found one like this that the tooth grew back into the inside of the mouth, into the skull, and killed the beaver.
Because he
Oh,
wasn't a working beaver? How come?
Because there was some other abnormality that
Oh.
screwed it up so he could not wear the teeth down. And this is quite an old beaver, besides the long in the tooth pun, because that's a big head. If you add some flesh and skin, and they have big jaws back here, jaw muscles obviously, and so yeah, that's a pretty big beaver. And there's a number of where the animals, the other small rodents, have been gnawing on it. You'll see a lot of little parallel grooves in the skull. You can also tell it's a beaver because it's streamlined for swimming, unlike some other not regular head swimmers. So thank you for letting me show you that.
Cool.
And then, well, we had an interruption in the motion to adjourn. The next meeting will be October 24th.
Oh, we're doing the
Now, we have a motion on, what?
October, what?
24th, not the 31st? Not Halloween?
31st is the last.
Well, the 31st is
Oh,
Halloween.
that's right. 24 and 7 is 31.
I'm
There
fine
is
coming
another
on
one.
Halloween, but we don't have any trick-or-treaters come to our house.
31st?
Is there anything pressing? We could do the 20, you know.
No,
but
no,
if
I
we
just screwed up my math. I
If
didn't
we
know.
stick with our pattern, that would,
It'd be the 31st.
yeah, and assuming we can get a place to meet.
Do they,
Oh, is there
Did
stuff
they do
going
the-
on here?
that's what I was gonna ask. Do
Yeah,
they do
they
that,
do
do they do that parking lot thing on the?
Yeah,
Halloween
with,
night.
with
Halloween.
Bill Shea and.
Sometimes they do, I don't know exactly. It
Yeah, I
depends
don't
on,
I think it's earlier than we meet anyway, so even if it was the same day.
yeah.
I think it's like 5 o'clock or something, they do that.
Well, we can put it down on the
31st.
schedule and
Oh,
then we'll
but
find
yeah,
out.
the whole Bill Shea thing, I guess that,
Yeah,
that
that's-
runs later.
Well, why don't we do the 24th and then we don't even
Yeah.
have to worry about it. And then we can go trick or
A
treat.
long break too. to the next
24th?
one.
Yeah, that is a long stretch.
It'll be
So,
good.
24th. Does that
Okay.
work for
24th.
everybody?
24th.
All right. Now, we have a motion on the table to adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.